Hey, hey, welcome everybody to another episode of I Must Ask You a Question with Jen and James. Sorry we missed last week. It was New York Comic Con Recovery Week,
Yeah,
and uh, really getting back, we're getting prepped for the move. I'm in my new limitless void of an office at the new headquarters. I haven't set it up yet,
I was going to
but
say, are you in that in between place between here and the Matrix?
yes, yes, I am. I got stuck here. I've been here since last week. I don't know how to get out. How you doing? How was your flight back? Everything good?
Everything was good. I got back and the crew had taken really good care of making sure everything happened. They did all the live shows, and now I think now I'm superfluous and everyone likes them better, which is fine. I like getting replaced by people that have more skills than me. That makes me happy. But yeah, I was super excited to get back and start talking about all of the new comic books that I saw and who I got to
We have
talk to about them.
quite a big quite a big shipment coming to you now that we got everything organized for the New York Comic Con variants. So I have quite a few. We got the final numbers on a few of them that I'll share with you offline.
Okay.
That just you tell me how many of those you want. You know, some of those super rare exclusives. I'll let you know the quantity we have. But yeah, it was quite an event. So good to see you in person. You know, after years now, right? I think I saw you last in Portland
Yep.
just before the pandemic in February of 2020, and it's just my time has gone by so fast and so slow at the same. You know, like right there in the middle. It's been so weird this past 2 years, but you know what? I'm gonna try something a little unorthodox.
Oh,
I'm gonna get up. I wanna I wanna give everybody kind of a tour. Is that
oh,
cool?
tour time.
All right. So this is my mess of an office right here. Not much, haven't have anything is not really unpacked because we still have the old location too.
So you have chairs and piles of boxes. It's awesome.
Piles of boxes. It's crazy. But I'm gonna take you guys out here. And here's Kristen and Lisette working on orders. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
We have the absolutely killer Scout video game thing that I've literally haven't had time to play. So now we're gonna go over here. This is Kathy's office. She had to go home a little bit earlier because her little one wasn't feeling good.
Oh no.
And here's this awesome. Here's Sam. She's working on inventory down here. Whoop. Say hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi,
Oh, that
Sam.
wall. That
So
looks so cool.
isn't this cool? So we have a section for nonstop, for Scout Metal, holofoil, glow in the dark, ash cans, and VHS variants.
That backlight is so cool.
Isn't that cool? That was Trevor's idea. Our warehouse manager and one of my best friends. I was like, man, it's so cool. You can mess with all the different colors. What was it?
Is it changing colors? Oh my gosh, it's doing the
Yeah.
little like. Woo.
And you can decide which colors to change. Like they have certain ones that are pre-programmed. We have mature audience for all the Murder Hobo Metal Shark fans, as you can see. Then what we have here, this is what we call the vault. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of slabs. So what we're doing is on this door behind me, we're doing some cool imagery that's going to say, welcome to the Scout Vault. And we're going to have like keys and stuff to go in. So we've partnered with this company here called Comics on Coffee. Boxes are covering it. But right where I'm standing, this back wall, sorry, I'll give you a better view. This back wall here is going to be like a coffee house, a coffee station that's going to have all kinds of, different coffee drinks that they can take up front. So it's going to be like a coffee house. So this is where we're doing Scout first issues for people who want to pick up low cost first issues to test the series. And then here's our new releases. This bad boy is going to be eventually when we do these podcasts, this is where I'm going to do it from. This is our podcast room.
Broadcast booth.
Yes, some fancy couches. Sorry, this is tough to do. And we're going to do like we'll have like live auctions like once a month or once a quarter where we do some cool stuff. But then this is where we're going to be selling our title boxes, which is complete sets. And here's the ones that we have available, if you guys can see behind me.
Yes.
And then this is our Scoot section. for all those young readers. And we even made that. We got this table. We're gonna have like crayons and stuff where kids can like color and have fun. And then we have this kiosk that's right below me, and we're calling it New York Comic Con. So when we have our grand opening on November 13th and 14th, this the New York Comic Con will be on there. And then of course we have our cool vending machine that you have on as well.
Yeah.
And then here's our counter behind. So yeah, that was a quick tour of the actual showroom, and I'll just give you guys another quick tour out here of the monster warehouse. I'll just show you behind me. It is
I'm so jealous.
monstrous. Yes. And just when we decide to actually have room, because we're building more of these shelves,
yes,
metal shelves, we keep getting more inventory. You can't get rid of it.
It fills up so fast. I mean, we got the warehouse I'm in right now, and it didn't take us but 2 years to fill it to the top.
And if you guys follow me, look at this. This is trippy. We have another section out here, full to the brim of comics. So yes, this is I mean, it's pretty awesome. Like, look at all that packing supply. Oh my gosh, look at all biodegradable. My wife would appreciate that. Actually, I don't know if you knew this. These peanuts here, Jen,
you can eat them.
You can eat them. You can eat them.
And
my wife,
whenever she comes in,
she eats them. They are. They don't taste that very. Yeah, kind of like popcorn.
Yeah, every once in a while we'll get those in boxes, and you can smell which ones they are because they smell like kind of like rice cakes.
Yes, exactly. All right, so that was a quick tour. I know I've been wanting to do that for what seems like months now, but it's coming along very, very nicely. It's just there's so much, and when you have conventions involved and running multiple businesses, it's not the easiest thing to do. So it's been pretty wild. Also, my sister. So I don't know. Did I tell you about Javatown?
It tickles my memory banks, but
I used to own a comic store when I was young. Well, my dad did, but I convinced him to open a comic book store / coffee house from like 1994 to 1996 in Fort Myers, where we're at, and we called it Javatown. And it was named after a comic by Scott Saavedra called Javatown that was published by Slave Labor around the same time they did like Milk and Cheese and Hectic Planet and a few others. I think Johnny the Homicidal Maniac came out right around then. But anyways, it was a record and comic shop, and she found an old picture of
I love it.
Isn't that awesome?
Man, that screams 90s. That looks just like my shop minus the records.
Yeah, some of those records, like if you look really closely, I'm moving in, there's like a Sebadoh record called Smash Your Head on Punk Rock. That LP is worth like $4,000 now. I have no idea where it's at. But yeah, she when we got together for my dad's birthday, she found this. I'm like, this is so cool. So yeah, that was Javatown. Pretty cool picture. Like it just goes way back. It's kind of right now what this location is locally. Mm-hmm. It's called the Catnap Inn. It's a place where you can, it's like a spa for cats. So
for a minute there, I thought you could just like go in and like climb into bed and cats would climb into bed with you.
That sounds like an awesome idea, but it's just for your cats to be pampered. They do really well because I think they opened after we shut down in 96. I think they opened up in 97 and they've been there ever since. Yeah. So who would have thought fancy Catnap, like Catnap Inn would be the, would outlast a lot of different companies and and whatnot. So
there is an actual place here at the Galleria. I don't know about now during COVID, but they're an actual nap place. They're at the back of a really cool.
See, I saw that.
And it's like super like Zen music, like white noise, pink noise, and then it's super comfy. And you just go in and check in for half an hour at a time. You can tell them how long you want to nap, and then they'll raise the music and get it louder to wake you up when you're done.
Wow. The first time I saw a business like that was when I went to Minnesota at the Mall of America. They have a nap place. Mm-hmm. Same concept. Like, what a great idea. And I could use a nap a lot of times, especially in the afternoon Are you a coffee drinker? That's my question for you.
Every day.
Oh, every day. So when you don't have your coffee, how like around this time in the afternoon, you just start like getting real tired. So let's talk comics. So that was Scout, and as you can see, it's crazy. So November 13th and 14th, guys, whoever's listening to this, guys and gals, that's going to be our big grand opening here in town. We're going to do huge promotion for it. We're having tons of creators come out to do signings. That's why we're doing it a 2-day event. But I'm super excited. The goal for this location is to make it like a destination spot where 3 to 4 times a year we're going to have like big name creators come in and do certain variants and just kind of make it like a cool event, almost like a mini con, so to speak. So it's a really fun, and the way it's designed and the staff here has been absolutely fantastic. So but it's a lot of work, I'll tell you that. That's one of the reasons why we started this podcast, right, is to see what goes behind the scenes at a comic store and a publisher. And I feel kind of both is going on. And then, of course, you have like conventions that are mixed in. So, I mean, we were planning on doing this in October, but realistically, there would have been no way for us to open by the 30th. That was the original goal.
Yeah.
So it's just getting things together. We're barcoding everything. So do you barcode stuff?
Our system is unique, I think, in the comic book industry. Most everyone's using Comic Suite or Comic Setup, which just uses the barcodes that are on them. But I use a different POS system. It's actually really designed for consignment. It allows me to track different collections. So it actually generates barcodes on stickers that I put on everything. So I can tell you between 2 of the exact same books when it came in and how much I paid for it, because it has a unique barcode.
Oh, that's great. Wow. So you get in that detail. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, we create our own barcodes. We're using the barcodes that are on trades already. We're going to use those. And then anything that's on comic tags, we're going to be using those because they have separate barcodes. But as far as like variants and individual issues, like everything's going to be bagged and boarded, and we're slapping barcodes. So now it's like keeping inventory and updating it, because we transferred before the pandemic. We did have a showroom, obviously much smaller than what it is now, and we would generate some pretty good business there. I would say we were averaging between $1,500 and $2,000 a month, and it was paying overhead. It was awesome, and it wasn't a great location, and it was small, and we never really posted hours. It was just like if I was here or someone else was there, we would have the doors open, give people tours, let them shop. Well, anyways, we used Square as Square Up is how it goes online, as our content, as our system for the showroom. But since really just before the pandemic, we moved to Shopify. I don't know. Are you using Shopify as your platform? It's incredible. It's awesome. So now we're in the process of opening this new one. We are transferring everything from Square and adding things and making it part of Shopify as a point of sale instead of website. So yeah, it's a learning process, and all the stuff that it's very tedious going in and creating stuff and pricing it. It's just wild. It's a lot of work, that's for sure.
And once it's in there, and that makes it easier.
Oh yeah, and as far as like the reports and the analytics that it brings up, and it really it's amazing as far as collecting taxes. And that's the other thing we've had to learn is like all the different like permits we have to get just to open the doors. You have to have a fire inspection and all this stuff that comes with doing a comic book store or doing a place of business that's open to the public is just insane. But nevertheless, exciting stuff. So I kind of told you there's been really 3 very big developments on the Scout part that's happening kind of behind the scenes, and it's moving quickly. So hopefully in the next couple weeks, I'll be able to make an announcement, but some profile raising things that are in the works right now for us. And it's very exciting. And again, sometimes I just want to get pinched because of some of the phone calls and some of the meetings that we have. It's pretty wild. So tell me,
if you got yourself like in your mind, if you got yourself figuring out that like you guys are going to do some meteoric growth, and that means a little bit of growing pains.
Oh, we've already been experiencing the growing pains, that's for sure. I mean, our printer has been experiencing the growing pains, where we increased with lunar distribution in Simon and Schuster. We increased our output like probably 3 times of what it was, and they at first couldn't keep up. They couldn't maintain enough employees.
Yeah.
So and then of course there's paper shortages. I'm sure a lot of you have read about paper shortages. That's very real, and that's affecting everybody. And yeah, that's happening with a lot of our books, our special stock paper that we use, that we really get behind the quality of paper. It's really hard to come by, and it's weird. It's like from how it was explained to me with paper, what printers do is they bid like on an open marketplace as paper gets in,
Oh
and
wow.
usually it's like an open bid process, and it's plenty of quantity. It's literally they haven't even had anything to bid on multiple different types of paper. So even if they wanted to pay more money for it, it's not even there. The supply literally has dried up, and a lot of it's because of just supply chain in general.
You know what's
You
going
know,
to happen? There's going to be
Mhm.
some kind of, it's going to be famous. There's going to be some kind of lore that happens 20 years from now. Someone's going to find a long lost warehouse full of paper, and
Just
the
that's all
people
that's
sitting in
there.
the industry.
I can see it. I can see it happening, but I think everyone knows where it's at. It's not that it's stuck in a warehouse. It's all stuck on boats out in the
Yeah.
Pacific and Atlantic Ocean, just sitting there waiting to dock. There's some sort of bottleneck that's happening in this country, and I don't. I'm not sure why. Is it because of COVID restrictions? Is it? I don't think so.
Uh-uh.
But yeah, it's really fascinating for sure. So all the little ins and outs of what you have to deal with, it's pretty crazy. And then you're also managing personalities, right?
Yep.
We have the bigger we get, the more personalities there are that you have to manage and make sure that they're happy. Some people are unrealistic with expectations. You have to set those expectations. Just managing a group of personalities. It's very similar to a sports team. So yeah, it's been, to say the least, these past 2 months have been very, very stressful and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I think
tell me
it's
about.
also
Go ahead.
I think it's also interesting that when you have so many creative people on a team, that it's
Hmm.
not necessarily that people butt heads, but that there's so many ideas, that there's like a wealth of ideas that you're like, what do we do first, or how do we do them?
Yeah, and making sure that you're not biting off more you can chew. That's always a concern as well. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the new things that we're doing is trying to figure out how it happened. We have certain parameters that we have to be creative, coincidentally, to make certain deals work. You have to start thinking outside the box, and being just a publisher in general, and competing, not having the budget that the big boys have. It's tough. It's tough to get out there and to market and to try to get market share. And the market is getting back to more of a normal sense, but yeah, there's just lots of competition there, not just in the comic book world, but in like just the movie, the TV world, etc. It's like you're trying to get eyeballs, attention. You have to get someone's attention, and it's hard to maintain that too. So was there any big books that came out this week at the shop that
Uh,
you?
it's interesting. There were a bunch of like DC books which were really wonderful. Like the new Nubia title came out. She's been a character that's been around for a while in the Wonder Woman universe. That one was really
Mhm.
cool. There's one that I read that wasn't actually released this week. It was one of those that got caught in the partial shipment with Image, and it was written by Rodney Barnes, which I got to interview him last month. It was the first time I met him, and I just adore him now so much. But the book itself made me literally cry. Like
Really?
it's one of those storylines where if you read enough comic books, you can see the train coming at you,
Hmm.
but you can't get off the track. You know it's going to come hit you in the face, and
Wow.
you're
What's
ready
what's this
for it.
book called?
Oh, man. Oh, I got it on the list right here. It's one of those that has like a person's name as the first part of the book name. Oh, this is not the right week. No. Oh, it's here. It's somebody's name. Oh, good. I have it. You guys should put it on your list to read for sure.
Yeah.
posting it. It's a Nita Hawes Nightmare blog.
Nightmare blog, and that's Image.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
It's, I can't even get you there, but if you like emotional, like punches to the face, so good. But it's also super creepy if you like horror.
Horror is such a, I like horror comics more so than I like horror movies. I think it's because I'm a big scary cat. So I'm gonna write this down. What was it called again?
It's Nita, so Nita, and then Hawes, Hawes, Nightmare blog.
Interesting. That was not on my radar screen at all. But you enjoyed it, and it made you cry.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Speaking of books that made me tear up, Why the Last Man, the very last issue. I don't know if you've ever read that series, but the very last issue I still think is probably my favorite single comic book ever. And got some bad news that it got canceled this week. I'm pretty far behind as far as watching it. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and I really enjoyed them. And that's one of my, from a writer standpoint and from a fan, that's like my favorite comic book. And it's sad to see because I know it's, and I hear different reviews. Some people loved it, some people hated it. But it's just sad to see because it took so long to get there. I think Shia LaBeouf was attached to it at one point back in the early 2000s.
He's a great actor.
He really is. I know he's not that great of a human being from what I understand, but like as far as acting goes, like I don't know if you ever saw Peanut Butter Falcon.
No,
have you seen that? Oh my goodness, Jen. Put that on your list to watch. It's incredible. And coincidentally, we're kind of in business with the people who produce Peanut Butter Falcon. They're the ones who are funding, and we partnered with to do Eternus, that big book that we launched at New York Comic Con. That follows, it's Andy Serkis is the co-creator of that, Gollum and director of Venom 2, and so many different accolades that guy's done. But yeah, they're help finance at Armory Films, and that Peanut Butter Falcon's fantastic. It really is. So highly recommend it.
Totally.
Even if you're not a fan of LaBeouf, it's still very, very good. I know we didn't at least as far as Diamond goes, we didn't have anything come out this week.
Yeah, I have a hard time knowing what comes out since I get it directly from you guys. It's just all magical to me.
And I think honestly, the new Comic Wednesday thing is, now that we have multiple distributors, it's going to go away. I think comic stores should keep it, but you're going to have shipping delays coming from different locations now that Penguin and Random House, I mean, this is their second week, right? How have they done as far as criticism with the shipping? Just out of curiosity.
So, like I tell people, I must live a blessed life because I didn't have the same kind of problems that other people had with the Penguin shipment.
Oh, that's good.
We had some damages, but I knew they were rotating to better boxes and stuff as soon as they could. So I didn't.
Were they packed the same way as some of those complaints, or did you get better packing? And just lucked out. I
didn't get to be there when they were opened this week because my son did it on Monday. But I'll ask him about whether it was better packing because I know I'd seen that their restock for comic books were all coming in like double walled with a bunch of bubble wrap, and those look really gorgeous. That packing. So I'm hoping that they're going to rotate to that packaging. I know it's more expensive, but it's gotta cost them less overall. So they don't have to ship it twice. That's shipping from
it does.
The Random House is free.
The cost of employees to ship it again. There's other things that they could be doing. You're absolutely right. We learned that where we've constantly, I don't think we get many returns at all from our retailer program because of the amazing job that the staff here does. It's pretty incredible. And I know we do spend quite a bit of money on that packing supplies, but in the long run, it makes absolute sense to do that.
And it's going to be less stressful for you because I've talked to other publishers that they're like that if they're shipping things directly and not necessarily to retailers, but to if they ship them directly to customers, that they basically said they'll farm that out to somebody else because it's so stressful the dealing with if there is some kind of damage. So it's always nice to not have damages. Then you don't have to deal with complaints at all.
So far, so good. Knock on wood. I mean, it's very little and few and far between because of the extra care that we put in. That part is me being a collector and just knowing that it makes sense. And even if you win a customer by like how you respond to those scenarios of when there is damages, it's still costly for the company, right? You have to reship it, you have to do all these different things, and quite honestly, it's like it's not worth doing. It's better to spend extra money on the packing to make sure it gets there, safely in the first place.
Yep, that's the way we've done it for our shipping. It's like the team back here in the warehouse is pretty serious about making sure that they don't have to deal with complaints either.
Yeah, and what's crazy too is we will have a bottleneck at the end of the month because as you know, we do our subscription box service, and gosh, I'm the same person calling me over and over again. Hopefully it's not an emergency, but anyways, we do a subscription box, and we have these special Scout like Gemini mailers that we make, and they're pretty incredible. But there's a shortage on cardboard. So we put the order in a long, long time ago. And also, I'm sure you've experienced that there's shortages on cardboard, i.e. the paper to make boards for comic backer boards. And they're very hard to come by right now as well. So yeah, it's pretty wild. We're going to have to do our, few hundred subscribers. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to send them if we don't have the boxes, and it's getting to crunch time. We have to get them this week, and I don't think that's going to happen. So,
hey, I'm telling you right now, you have permission from me for my things. Go to the grocery store and get boxes from them, from stuff that they're done with, and
then just load it up. I think that's what we're going to have to do. I mean, because our subscription box has 12 books a month, and typically, sometimes we add more. I'm just trying to think the proper box to get. We have a couple ideas, but that's something that we're going to have to look into. I think our it might be, if we don't get a notification today, we're going to have to start making plans to do something else so there is no delays. So those are the little things, everybody who's listening, that like you have to deal with when you're a publisher or a comic shop. It's just constant like bumps in the road that you have to learn to adapt. And when you adapt, you have to make sure you do it right. And you have to be conscious of costs and multiple different things just so you don't get, in trouble. It's crazy. It's crazy. So looks like we're about out of time. So let's end the show as everyone knows, I think by now, is we try to end each show with a question where we ask each other and we kind of answer. So this week, my question is, and I might have asked this before and I feel awful. I'm pretty sure I asked this before because I know the answer to it. So I'm gonna. If you weren't a comic shop owner, what would you want, or like what would you be doing? And I think you told me you would be a police officer, right?
Yeah, if things had gone a different way and I didn't have low blood pressure or hypotension, I would be a police officer right now.
Yeah, so that one doesn't work. So in addition to being a comic book store owner, if you can do something else, like what's your dream job other than a comic store?
Oh my gosh. I think you're helping me go back to fulfill something as a dream that I started in the 90s but ran out of time to do, was to write again.
That's awesome. And that's a dream that's going to come true because I've read everyone who is listening. Jen is a very talented writer. And once she practices the craft, it's going to get better and better because that's what happens, right? The old cliche, practice makes perfect. And the cool concept that she has, like, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. My dream.
See what you think of the whole thing.
What was that?
I can't wait what you think about.
I know I have an email in my inbox. I'm looking through it right now, my inbox, and I have an email from you for, I think it's your updated version of it. So I'm looking forward to it. My dream job is a baseball player, which is now an actual.
Totally see it.
Huh?
I could totally see it.
I used to be catcher, and I went pretty far in the baseball world, but ultimately I didn't love it enough to deal with politics to continue doing it. So, yeah.
So did it wreck your knees?
No, which is crazy, right? But I still play softball. Like I still have my I play softball like twice a week, and I've been doing that, and it kind of fuels my competitive nature. Like on Mondays, I play on a co-ed team, and I got my wife to play too. It's a lower level co-ed team, but it's fun, and I absolutely adore the people that I play with. It's just like this group of people that some of my best friends in the world, and they're just incredible. And then on Thursday nights, I play on a men's like ultra competitive league, and it's fun. I get like best of both worlds. But real quick story is I was playing third base because I'm not scared of the ball. Like I wear a mouthpiece when I play third base because it's really close. It's more of like little league than Major League Baseball as far as close to the hitter you are. Like I'll stop anything, but I am scared of the dentist, so that's why I wear a mouth guard because I don't want to go to the dentist. So I'll take a hit anywhere. So this one guy hits a line drive, and I go this way to catch it, meaning to my left, and it knuckled to the right, and it literally hit me directly on the knee, like super fast. I thought my knee was done. It was most excruciating pain, but it stopped after like 3 minutes. And I'm like, okay. And I was able to walk, and I had a little bit of a limp, and of course it was black and blue. But I'm starting to get knee problems now. That was about a year ago. I just knew after I got hit, I was like, wow, I literally dodged a bullet. I think if it would have been a couple inches, not even a couple centimeters down or to the left or to the right, my whole knee would have been shattered.
Ugh.
But I do think it took life off of my knee because I'm feeling it now. Like I was doing squats for this exercise routine, and it just all of a sudden felt like it was on fire. And I had to like took my breath away. I'm like, uh-oh, I think it's coming. So sorry, that was a long drawn out story, but yes, catching didn't kill my knees. It was actually slow pitch softball. And
I think
so
that's
the
called
irony
playing
of that
also.
is really never got hurt playing baseball, but I've gotten hurt multiple times playing softball, dislocated shoulders. Yeah, that's painful. That's a whole nother day that we can talk about that. Not fun, but everyone, thank you so much for listening. And again, exciting time for comics in general. There's been a lot of big news, and hope to share it with you guys next week or the week after. Some pretty big news on the Scout front. But until then, we will see you next week, same time, same channel. So Jen, have a good one, and everybody, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.